Hello everybody, welcome to this special industry interview series. I have with me Marty McDonald, the co-founder of Bad Rhino, and he's going to tell us about how live video and on-demand video play into social media marketing. All this and more coming up next. So Marty, thank you so much for coming in the studio today.
Hey, no problem, Paul. I just walked right up the street.
I know, I can't believe it. You're only a block away. This is great. So tell me a little bit about Bad Rhino and the inspiration behind the company that you co-founded.
Sure. So Bad Rhino is a social media marketing agency, kind of morphing into a digital agency, but we started back in 2010. So we're going into year 8, which when I stop and think about it, kind of just is like, oh my God, we're going into year 8, but it's been awesome. Started with my partner, Rich. Rich has been somebody I knew for years, and he started a blog called Corn on the Job, and I had been doing internet marketing since about 2002 and doing some consulting on the side with small businesses, helping them websites, you know, the basic stuff. But way back when you actually had a code, there was no Wix or Squarespace or anything like that. And we got together and people were asking him for help in social media. And Bad Rhino was launched in August of 2010. And it was really fun just to come up with the concept. And then you go through and you're like, now you need a client. Who's going to pay us for this? And the landscape back then for social media was totally different. But we saw a need to kind of manage the content. Businesses were starting to get out on the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I mean, those were kind of the only 3 that were really chugging along that were good for business. And fast forward, and you know, here we are in Westchester. We have a team of 4 people, plus we have about 12 contractors spread across the country. And the inspiration for it, found a need. I like to start businesses, not the first one I've done and probably won't be the last. And it's been a heck of a lot of fun with a name like Bad Rhino.
I know, what a cool name. I heard a little bit of the story and I was flipping through your book here. I want to talk a little bit about that, but tell me, who is your typical customer?
Sure. So the typical customer is somebody that wants to get into social media. Really, that's like the baseline. A lot of people have different ideas of what they want to do, but our typical customers fall into a couple different categories. We work with golf companies across the country. We work with beer. That's what the book was about. So craft beer, not every beer. So craft beer is a specific niche. Then the other 2 are mid-sized companies, mainly in the technology sector. Some are in commercial real estate. And then the last one is local business. So we have some here in Westchester, as well as some other areas that you would classify as small local business.
Very interesting. So for these typical customers that you have, what would you say your core service is?
Sure. So there really falls into 2. One, they're either looking for brand awareness. So they want to be known out there. They're not necessarily looking for sales. I mean, that's the end result for all of this. Don't get me wrong. But they're looking for brand awareness so that they know that their restaurant is being noticed, or the barber shop or closet design. They want to be noticed first. And the second one is just driving leads, you know, and that's a little bit different. But those are the 2 main things that you do. And the core offerings are all around social media. So we create the content, we manage the content, we implement it, we update the strategy, and then we also manage ads. And then it's like a rinse repeat type process from there.
Yeah, you know, that's a very, we've talked a little bit about that on our show, how if you can find an ad that's working, you know, you just crank it up and keep it going. So I'm sure you help your customers with that quite a bit. So you've been in business for 8 years. You've seen a lot happen in that time, I'm sure. Tell us about how online video has changed, and has your business kind of adapted your services to kind of, you know, adapt to that change?
Yeah, you almost have to. I mean, you have a phone in your pocket now that you can, I mean, if you have a new iPhone, I mean, you have perfect HD video for the most part. So you have a powerful device there. You can use other things as well. How it's changed when it first started was the only people that had professional videos that were shot that way, that appear professional, they were done by professionals. So that was really interesting to see, because we've come full circle now. So a lot of people did, you know, the old flip cams and other things, and they were putting things out there that worked for social at the time. Now with, you know, Facebook Live coming out and a handful of other things, people are looking at their brand. Companies are looking at their brand and saying, we need more professional and we need to look professional. And we did. We had to change our, you know, kind of scope of services to add video and professionally shot video. And we just launched a new website. It's badrhinovideo.com. So where it just has samples out there. So you can see like what we're thinking at the same time. It's right now it's a lot of restaurant and beer stuff because that's what we're focused on the beer side. But you can kind of get a feel of it. And we're going to add some more as we go along. But we've had to change because the video gets the connection. I was in a meeting yesterday and we're talking about it. And it was like someone said it's the virtual handshake. It's the new business card. So getting it out there and doing video is proper and you need to do it. But the proper word is the key there. You have to do it properly to get noticed.
Yeah. We've done a lot of interviews so far. I've heard people talking about how a lot of websites are like a brick wall with a bunch of brochures. And when you put that video on there, it's the window to your business, for example. Yep. You also mentioned the virtual handshake, being able to meet the person and getting to know them. So video has been really important. You've recognized that. And we actually have a referral network I'd love to get you a part of where local businesses can reach out to get professional video done. And I think that's great that that really is kind of the ideal. You not only are you a professional marketer, you've written a book, you're an author, but you're realizing the need for video so much so that you're offering the service. Now, tell me about live video. Now, you mentioned Facebook Live briefly. That's really what we focus on here at StreamGeeks. Online video seems to be, everyone's recognizing it. Live video seems to be a little scary for some businesses. What approaches and tips do you have for companies you're working with?
Well, it is scary. I mean, just think about it. You flip on a camera and there you are talking to the world potentially. So people put that in their head, and the first thing is when we have a client, we ask them to do Facebook Live. It's like, all right, what you're going to do here is just some parts of it, just be quiet, like get used to the process, get used to doing it, flipping the camera on, which way is the camera facing, just put like 30, 45 seconds. We try and just say, get to a minute because it'll happen fast. And you don't even have to talk to anything. You can do like a review of your office and just say, hey, I just want to walk you through and show you what's going on today. And if somebody walks by, it's like, oh, hey, Paul, and something like that. So start off small. Get comfortable with it because once it's on you and your camera's there, people start to freak out. Yeah. And it becomes a struggle. And what you don't want to do, and I think this is where most business owners freeze up. Like, I would love to do that, but how do I do it? And what do I do? And one of my biggest tips is okay, you're going to do 365 of them. And people's heads explode. They're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if you like Instagram, or if you like Facebook, either one, just go on there and talk about your day. You don't have to be there. So one of the examples yesterday was a moving company. I'm like, I'm sure you see some crazy stuff every day. Just start talking about it, and get into a rhythm with it. And then as you get more comfortable with it and you start to see how people respond to it, then craft a plan or talk to somebody about getting a strategy down to do it. And then you have to take the leap of faith and turn the camera on yourself. Yeah. Now, it is scary.
That's a good way to put it. And it's interesting because I wonder sometimes how many live videos it takes to get incredibly comfortable. We've been doing it for about 2 years now, hundreds of live streams. And the process, every studio, every person, it always get better and better and better. Sometimes as you realize the value, you get more and more equipment to get the lights and the cameras. And now we feel very good about our setup, but it's always a process and it's a snowball. It's like Legos and, building things. But so Facebook Live's been really interesting. So are any of your customers using live video today and in finding it success in that space?
Yeah, it's so new.
It's still early.
It's still early to say, okay, this is what's working for everybody. But to me, when you want to connect with or get your information out, it's a fast way to do it. And you can see the results of that. And Facebook is really just kicking up on that algorithm and giving it some love because they're trying to take over TV. Let's just not kid ourselves, right? They have the bullseye right there. They want to be TV. So they're, giving it love there. So when people and business owners start to see that, they're like, oh, this is actually working better than a written piece of content or a really good piece of, graphic or anything like that. So the interesting part about it is it's early on to say, okay, this is what the perfect scenario is. But I think if you could stay consistent with it and you actually have a plan. What I see is a lot of people, they do Facebook Live one day and then like 6 weeks later they get on another one and then they'll do another one a month later, But if you stay consistent with it and you condition both your current customers and potential customers and you talk to them directly about what your service or product is, you can see some amazing results pretty quickly because people get to know you and that's what they buy from, the people they know.
Yeah, I can speak to that just a little bit. We walked down the street to Old Soul Decor, a business right down the street, and we said, hey, she has 2,000 roughly Facebook likes, and we said, hey, we're gonna do a live stream for you, a really nice production, and she let everyone know. We got pretty good results, There were 10 or 20 people watching. She was able to generate some sales. She was getting some inquiries, and of course, the algorithm of Facebook was doing well. Yep. But that was it. And she didn't do another live show. And I remember on StreamGeeks, when we did our very first live show, there were no viewers. There was literally none. Yep. But we said, let's every week have a schedule. So every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And now every week we get 50 or more. And those are engaged viewers who are helping the algorithm. As soon as our video posts to YouTube, it's already got 50 hours of watch time. Yep. Consistency is so important. I'm glad you mentioned that. So let's talk a little bit about your book, because we're wrapping it up here. I want to have a beer show myself, actually. We've talked about that on StreamGeeks to have like the craft beer of the week. Yeah. But tell me a little bit about your book. For that. And tell me how you would recommend. So this is specifically for beer companies.
It's specifically for beer. I mean, it's like a long intro to Bad Rhino and a giant business card. The front half of it has a lot of actionable items, along with getting to know who I am, as well as Bad Rhino and the team there. So that was really fun to start that process out, because you want to have something that you can talk to, and you can put the book out there. I was shocked when, I get these Amazon checks, because it's not going to be a New York Times bestseller. It's not written for that, but it just shows in the market that there's a need. And I'm really passionate about what craft beer does in a community, driving the employment and, bringing people together. And that's kind of what social media is all about. So it fits perfectly like that. So we worked with one client that's local here, a big one. And then now we've been working with a lot of smaller craft brewers across the country. And it's been a blast, because you'll hear somebody, I was speaking at a beer event, and they came up and they're like, I read your book. And he's like, whoa, and then like, can I get another copy? And they want me to sign it. So that's kind of like the part that I never anticipated. But yeah, anybody could read that, whatever business that you own, and you could take pieces of it and apply it to your own social media strategy for sure.
Great. And then on the flip side of that, I would also mention that I have had similar scenarios where I haven't written any published books, but ebooks, guides for very niche parts of the market, just beer. I do, just streaming for churches, or just streaming for this or that. And it's interesting how you pick for any business to start thinking about creating niche, because of how large the market is. You'd be surprised how many people will get the hold of that. So I think that's a great idea. So thank you so much for coming in, Marty.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
I'm excited to have you on the show on Monday. And for everyone that's watching out there, don't forget to like and maybe share this with somebody who likes beer. But of course, anyone who likes social media or marketing, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out our video on how to get into the streaming and marketing business. You can join our referral network at StreamGeeks.us and meet people who can help you create professional videos, and maybe even somebody like Marty who can give you advice on how to have the whole social media platform work for you. If you're a business who's thinking it's a little bit confusing, maybe it might be worth reaching out to Marty at Bad Rhino. Don't forget to subscribe, and take care, everybody.